Today, we're diving into one of the biggest questions out there. What really makes a nation wealthy? And I'm telling you, you can forget what you think you know about oil, gold, or land. The real answer is way more valuable. And believe it or not, it's hiding in plain sight. Let's get into it. So, what's the secret sauce for a country's success? For centuries, right, the assumption has been it's all about what you can dig out of the ground. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if the greatest treasure a nation has isn't buried underground, but is actually walking right on top of it? To show you what I mean, let's play a quick game. Picture this. It's 1960. You've got two countries. Country A is, frankly, a total basket case. It's just been shredded by war, it has pretty much no natural resources, and its people are making less than $300 a year. Meanwhile, Country B is sitting on a gold mine. Well, actually an oil mine. It's already 13 times richer. Now be honest, which one would you bet on for the future? Okay, now let's fast forward to today. The results aren't just surprising, they are absolutely staggering. Country A, which is South Korea, saw its income explode by over 100 times to $33,000 per person. Country B, Venezuela, despite having the largest oil reserves on the planet, has completely collapsed. Its income has actually gone down. I mean, how does that even happen? It completely flips conventional logic on its head. So what was the difference? The answer comes down to two simple but incredibly powerful words: human capital. This was the invisible asset that one country built up like crazy and the other just let fall apart. It is the single most important factor that explains this insane reversal of fortune, and honestly, it's the key to understanding how wealth is really built in the modern world. So, what exactly is this powerful force we're talking about? In this first part, we're going to break down how investing in people, in their health, their skills, and their minds becomes the true engine of economic growth. You know, to put it simply, human capital is just the total stock of knowledge, skills, and health that a country's people have. But think about it like this. A machine, it rusts, right? It breaks down. Human capital appreciates. It gets better with experience. And you can't just import it like a piece of equipment. You have to build it one person at a time. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate renewable resource. So how does this actually translate into dollars and cents? Well, there are three main ways. First, an educated and healthy worker is just way more productive. They create more value in less time. It's that simple. Second, they can adopt new technologies faster, and, this is the big one, they can start creating their own tech. I mean, look at Ireland, which used its educated workforce to become the Celtic tiger of the tech world. And third, an educated population demands better government and builds stronger, less corrupt institutions. It's a total trifecta for prosperity. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. The link between education and wealth is a clear, predictable pattern you can see with your own eyes. Just look at the data. A country like Germany, where the average adult has over 14 years of school, is an economic powerhouse. A country like Pakistan, with just over 5 years, really struggles. The general rule is that for every extra year of average schooling a country has, its GDP per person gets a boost of about 10%. So the gap you see here, it's not just an education gap, it's a prosperity gap in the making. The theory is pretty compelling, right? But the proof is in the real world. So let's look at some of the undeniable evidence from countries that have made wildly different choices. I mean, this quote from Singapore's founding father, Lee Kuan Yew, just nails it. Singapore had literally nothing. No land, no water, no resources to speak of, so they poured everything they had into the one thing they did have, their people. And that one simple insight turned a tiny little island into a global economic giant. It's the same path other resource-poor success stories, like Finland, followed. And let's look at another powerful example. Back in 1971, Bangladesh and Pakistan were starting from basically the same, very poor place, but they took very different paths. Bangladesh went all in on education, especially for girls, and the results are just, wow. Look at that female literacy rate. That educated female workforce powered a massive garment industry, which boosted their exports and has driven their GDP per person above Pakistan's. This right here is human capital in action. Okay, so if this is the path, what's the map? We've seen the why, so now let's get into the how. This next part lays out the practical blueprint that countries have to follow to build their most valuable asset. The good news is it's not rocket science, but it does require real discipline. The playbook has 4 key moves. 1, commit serious money. We're talking at least 5% of your national income to quality education for everybody. 2, make closing the gender gap a non-negotiable priority. Come on, you can't win with half your team sitting on the bench. 3, build practical skills with things like vocational training, because not everyone needs a PhD to be productive. And 4, You have to invest in public health because a sick kid can't learn and a sick adult can't work. And if you're still not convinced, let's just talk numbers for a second. The economic case is absolutely insane. For every single dollar a government invests in education, the return to society is estimated to be somewhere between $15 and $25. That comes from having a bigger tax base, lower crime rates, and better public health. I'm sorry, but you are not going to find that kind of ROI in the stock market. Investing in people's minds isn't just a nice social program, it is the single best economic investment a country can possibly make, period. So the big question is, if the returns are so massive, why isn't every country doing this? Well, the roadblocks are real. The biggest one is time. It can take a whole generation to see the full economic payoff from education, but politicians usually need results before the next election. Then there's the budget battle, where a new school often loses out to something more visible, like a shiny new highway. In some places, sadly, the elites might even resist mass education to hold on to their own power. And finally, there's the fear of brain drain. This idea that if you educate your brightest people, they'll just leave. But here's the thing, that's a symptom, not the disease. It just means you haven't yet built the opportunities at home, which, ironically, is the very problem that a more educated population helps to solve. Okay, let's bring this all home. Understanding all of this is one thing, but acting on it is something else entirely. And the choice to invest in people isn't just a good idea anymore. In the 21st century, it has become an urgent, non-negotiable necessity. You've got pressure coming from all sides now. Automation and AI are on track to wipe out millions of low-skill jobs. Only people with creative and critical thinking skills are going to thrive. We live in a global knowledge economy now where what you know is worth way more than what you own. And for a lot of developing nations, their big window of opportunity, a huge youth population, is starting to close. If they don't educate this generation now, it becomes a ticking demographic bomb, not a dividend. So after all the data, all the case studies, and all the economic theory, it really just boils down to a very simple, very stark choice. There is no middle ground here. A nation can either make the deliberate, long-term decision to invest in its people, or it can choose, by doing nothing, to squander its single greatest resource. Ultimately, this means we have to fundamentally change how we think about national wealth. Oil, diamonds, fertile land, that's all a bonus. It's a nice to have, but it's not the main thing. Your people, their health, their skills, their ambition, their ideas, they aren't just part of the economy. They are the economy. And the future belongs to the nations who finally understand that.